Well, hello everybody, Dr. R. Beitman here, and I am super excited to introduce you to a colleague of mine and more importantly, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Justin Brown. Hello, Dr. Brown.
Hello, Dr. Beitman.
So Dr. Brown and I have known each other for many, many, many years. He is one of the most accomplished upper cervical doctors in the world. He practices in South Florida. He is an athlete and a dad and a husband and just a great human being. And I'm so excited for him to share his insights with our community. So Doc, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and how you ended up here.
Well, first of all, I think it's important for the listeners to know a little bit about you because you're an extraordinary human. And, our families have had the opportunity to spend a lot of time around each other. So I know a lot of your patients know you as a phenomenal doctor, but you're probably even a more extraordinary human. So it's definitely it's a huge blessing to have our friendship and to also really have a very similar mission and purpose, which is to serve humanity through this beautiful thing of upper cervical chiropractic. So story goes that I was really suffering with severe fatigue so badly that I crashed through a construction zone, and that was a wake-up call for me that I was in such a bad state that I was either going to cause serious harm to myself or others with dealing with this fatigue at a young age. And I ended up seeking out help from the traditional side of healthcare and the medical system. And it didn't give me the results I was really seeking. And then ultimately I found help through finding research about upper cervical care. And so once I received this type of care, my mission became really clear that because I had such a profound impact with my own health, that it was really obvious that I needed to do this for others. And so my mission became really clear to me. What was really a tragedy became a triumph in that I was able to take that experience and then, commit fully, Dr. Beitman, to making sure that I was going to get this work out to as many people as possible and not let people suffer needlessly when the answer was way more simple than I thought it was. And so, in the end, I went through school and I became an upper cervical chiropractor, and I practiced in Seattle, Washington for a couple years before setting up my first practice here in South Florida. And we now have 3 practices in South Florida. We also own a CrossFit gym, and we have several charitable arms that we like to do a lot of community outreach here in South Florida.
Well, no one's ever going to question the impact you've had on your community and the profession, so thank you. What I want to do is I want to deliver value for people right now. They're home. They may have been home now for weeks. They have a lot of information coming at them. Unfortunately, a lot of it's on the negative side. And we want to be a source of inspiration, hope. And so in this realm of wellness, there are things that our communities can be doing for themselves right now. And I like to break wellness up into eat well, move well, and think well. And I'm going to ask you to give your top 1 or 2 strategies in each category. But I want to start with think well. And I always start with think well because obviously it's our beliefs that determine our behaviors, that determine our results. So we have to get this thing right before we can do the other stuff. So what would be your top 1 or 2 think well tips and tactics?
Yeah, I think the first and most important way to protect your mind right now is to know what you can control and know what you can't control, and keep it really clear as far as what you focused on. If we're glued to our TV right now, and even the strongest of minds, okay, the strongest of minds, if you get glued into that TV, that input that you're getting will start to take hold. And so you need to, more than ever before, you need to really protect your mind. And this isn't to be naive or to, paint a rosier picture than what the reality is. But I think what we need to do is right now is more than ever, be aware of what you can control. Be focused on the fact that you can, in fact, use this as an opportunity. The fact that you're locked up in your house for a few weeks means that you get a lot of family time, you know, and I hear a lot of people say, gosh, I wish I could just spend more time with your family. Well, guess what you got? Your wish has come true, you know? So I think, you know, for me personally, that's been a blessing, you know, to be able to spend a lot of quality time with my family. You know, that said, you know, we are an essential business. And so we're here for people, you know, when a lot of people, again, another blessing that when people come into the office right now, they say, I'm just so grateful that you're here for me. And, you know, my dermatologist closed, my dentist closed, these other doctors that could be open aren't, and you're here for me. And I'm so appreciative of that right now. And so, you know, not to make anybody better than anybody else, but in the end, it's like, you know, we have to be aware of where our mind is going and what we're feeding our mind and the people that we're deciding to be around. And that's one reason I love being around you, Dr. Abaitman, is because you always have a very fresh, positive perspective. You're a very level-headed guy, not just because you get adjusted, but because you're a guy that tends to be really wise when it comes to challenge. And so, you know, if you're a patient of Dr. Abaitman's, it's a beautiful time for you to be around him and for you to receive his type of input and to see his perspective, and also to stay positive and to look at, you know, I know there's a lot of things that I can't do right now and they may be out of my control, but what is in my control? Oh, you know what? I have more time to exercise. I have more time to organize my life, to plan on what I want to do with the next 6 to 12 months of my life. I can plan, maybe I can reorganize. I can go through old photo books and I can, you know, call the people that I've been meaning to call and reconnect with my loved ones. I can FaceTime with grandparents. I can spend time, you know, reading books with the kids and do all these things that I think are really enriching and really are fulfilling. So let's focus on what we can control, and let's maximize this time that's actually could be looked at as a blessing.
That's such a beautiful way to form a perspective. You know, we turn a challenge into an opportunity. And how many of us always say, "Oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I'm too busy." And now you're not busy. What are you doing with that time? So the next category that I want to move into is moving well. And I don't know that there's a more premier expert on this topic than you. Dr. Brown is a CrossFit athlete. As you mentioned, has a CrossFit gym, and he understands the body's mechanics better than most. Obviously, we're not going to give them a whole CrossFit training routine here, but I want you to speak to the importance of movement right now, what kind of boots on the ground recommendations you could give to people.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, motion is life. And so, you know, literally every single joint in your body has sensors inside of it that sends input up your nervous system to your brain that literally charges your brain. So imagine that. How well does your cell phone work if it doesn't have any charge, right? It doesn't. So it might have all these capacities that lie dormant because it doesn't have charge. Well, your body's really the same. And so right now, man, you might be in your house and you might not have one of the people that have caught on to the at-home fitness craze. But what I would say is that, you know, it's so important to get up, get moving, and keep your body in motion. And there's a reason why we have, you know, over 400 muscles in the body. You know, we have hundreds of joints in our body, and the body is designed that way for a reason. And the reason being is that that the systems of your body require movement. And you know, it's an old saying, you know, whatever goes stagnant starts to stink, right? Well, your body's really the same. If it's sedentary and it doesn't have proper motion, literally everything from your joints to your bowels to your brain require input and require motion. And so movement is essentially a part of life. And to the extent that you can move well and move efficiently, which is again why, you know, as chiropractors, we focus so much on proper movement, on proper alignment, and efficiency of systems because, you know, chiropractic is known for pain, but chiropractic is about 5% pain and 95% performance. And the performance aspect really comes from, part of it comes from the ability to move well. And so by getting adjusted, by keeping your skull centered on top of your spine and keeping your body moving in an efficient and effective manner, it literally allows for all other systems of your body to work the way they're designed to.
I love it. And I love how you said movement charges the brain. You know, the body is like a power plant, and power plants don't have energy, they generate energy. And your body is a power plant, and you have to generate energy, and you generate that energy. It's counterintuitive. You would think that by sitting around and watching Netflix, you are conserving energy so you'd have more. You actually have less. You actually generate more energy by getting out and moving. So great points. Thank you for that perspective. And then I guess on the third leg of the triune is our chemistry or our nutrition and what we're putting into our body, our fuel. Can you speak to that and how that affects our performance and our immune system?
Yeah, I don't know about most of you, but if you're anything like me or my family, somehow that pantry keeps on running after me and chasing me around the house. I don't know how it works. It just seems to be happening right now more than ever.
Toll booth, you gotta stop every time you go through, right?
Yeah. I mean, I tried a padlock on the pantry. I've tried, you know, putting a combination lock on the refrigerator. I don't know what in the world's going on there, but all kidding aside, I think it is important that obviously that you give your body healthy nutrition. Everybody's trying to focus on, how do I get my immune system stronger right now? What do I need to do? And people are so focused on what mask to buy or what gloves to buy, they forget that really health isn't coming from the outside, but it's really on the inside. And to the extent that we can fuel our body with, nutrient-rich foods that are from the ground and not from a can or a package, is certainly going to benefit you. So, what I would recommend right now is a time to really focus on, just have vegetables for every meal. It's just a simple thing. If you're going to have a meal, have vegetables as part of that meal. It's not about necessarily restricting what you eat, like, you don't eat that or don't eat that, but it's, what you actually eat. Because if you can give yourself good quality nutrition and you feel satiated, all of a sudden you're not going to feel like you need to go attack, the bag of chips or and the other piece is just, you don't eat what you don't have accessible to. So like if when you're grocery shopping, don't go starving because you're going to go for quick fast foods because you're probably, before you can even get to your car, you're going to be thinking in your head, what am I going to pull out of this bag so that I can eat it in the front seat of my car? Sure. See, I've never done this. I'm just saying I've seen people do it. But what I'm suggesting is if you go to the grocery store satiated and you got plenty of time, because the only places to go right now are the grocery store and the chiropractor. And so go to the grocery store, have a plan, right? Have a plan in place. Because if you fail to plan, I got to promise you, there's going to be things that jump in your grocery cart that you did not plan on buying. Right. So go with the plan, put quality foods, in your grocery cart and, think ahead, like anything that's going to be successful. If you think ahead, you plan accordingly, you work the plan, you're going to have quality foods. You're going to have foods that taste great. Certainly eat organic if you can, because it's going to be of higher quality. It'll have less pesticides. Tends to taste better, and it'll tend to be more satiating, and just fuel your body. Think about how well, even if you have a Formula One car, right? You got a Formula One race car, but if you don't put the right fuel in that car, it's not going to get across the track. It's not going to make any difference how good the makeup is if you don't give it the proper fuel to inject through the motor, through the engine. So think of your body the same way, as an athlete, I would definitely I would literally count every protein gram, every carbohydrate gram, and every gram of fat that went into my body, because I wanted to optimize the fuel so that when my body was under the most amount of demand, the most amount of stress, that I could count on having the appropriate nutrients there to feed me through that performance. And so that kind of takes it to a whole new level. But, you know, in the end, I think to the extent that we can be aware and make quality decisions, you're going to feel a lot better. And when you ultimately give yourself more higher quality nutrition, you won't have that regret. You won't add those extra pounds. You're going to keep your body functioning better. You're going to keep your immune system functioning better. And it's going to overall make you a healthier individual, make you a stronger person from the inside out, better on to take the stresses of life, whether that be a virus or that be any of the stresses that we're dealing with in this current state.
Yeah, incredible insight. And so many people like know what they should be doing, but hearing it posed like that will certainly give people the motivation to do the right thing. And what's amazing, Doc, is I've interviewed so many other doctors, and everybody teaches these topics in their own light, but there's so much overlap because you know why? The truth is the truth is the truth. And thank you for sharing your truth. As we close down here, could you just share a word of encouragement, inspiration, a quote, something that's helping pull you and your community and your patients forward at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say in times of adversity, true character is exposed. And this is an opportunity for you to be an inspiration, for you to be a source of positivity and a lighthouse to say what's possible. What can you do to be a positive influence for not only yourself, for your family, for your children, for your friends, for your coworkers, for the people that you care about? So be the solution. Don't be part of the problem. And be focused on what you can do, not on what you can't do.
I love it. Let's be hope spreaders. Hope spreaders. Spread it all around. Doc, I appreciate you. I don't know why it took us so long to do this, but we got to do this again. You're such a gem. I wish you and your family lots of health and your community, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you do for your community.
Awesome. Have a great day.